Hey everyone. So I'm here to do my actually 3-month postpartum update. I know I have not done a postpartum update since my 2-week update, and the main reason for that was because I was struggling a lot with breastfeeding, and I didn't really want to talk about it in an update because I didn't know what was going to come of it. I didn't know if how much longer I would be able to continue breastfeeding. And it was a really hard time because I was struggling so much and I didn't have help, and I needed help desperately in order to try and get things going back on the right track, and things just kept getting harder and harder. I was extremely exhausted and overwhelmed, and it just came to a point where my husband and I decided together that it was better for everyone, the whole family, me, Colton, Hudson, and Chris, if I stopped breastfeeding and we went to formula. And that was not a decision that was made lightly. That was not something that I wanted to happen. That was not something that I saw coming after having Hudson. In my labor and delivery story, I had mentioned that he latched on right away and it was great, and I was so happy with how breastfeeding was going. But then as he started to sleep less and less and became more and more awake, he started to be awake a lot, even just a few days after being born. Like by day 4, he was starting to wake up a lot more. And the more he woke up, the more he wanted to eat, and my supply wasn't full enough for him. And so I was breastfeeding him constantly. And when I say constantly, I mean constantly. I would literally go to jump in the shower, and not even like 10 minutes later, by the time I'm just stepping out of the shower, I would have to breastfeed him again. And I was doing it. I was breastfeeding on demand because I wanted so badly for it to work out. And my milk, I don't know why, because I was breastfeeding on demand, I was pumping, I started taking this fenugreek, I was drinking lots and lots of water, I was trying to make sure to my best of my ability that I was eating as good as I could be, and, not cutting portions or anything, just trying to make sure I was eating good, healthy food, and trying to make sure I would eat stuff that would set well with him and all of those kind of things. And it wasn't happening. And so after a month of breastfeeding, we came to the conclusion that I would just have to go to bottle feeding formula. And my supply left very, very quickly. So I'm not going to go into any more detail than that. But it was a really hard experience. And so I would appreciate, please don't leave like judgmental, mean comments below about me not breastfeeding anymore. I promise you, I tried so hard to breastfeed. And I was really hard on myself, and it's just making me really emotional even just thinking about it now, because I tried so hard, and it was so hard for me to formula feed him. But he's doing great. He's so healthy, and I'm doing a lot better now. I was beyond exhausted, and I wasn't able to keep up with trying to devote every second of my time to breastfeeding Hudson, but then at the same time I needed to be devoting my time to Colton, and it just wasn't working out. And so that's that. But anyway, so moving on to the next part of my update. My body is still regulating after having Hudson. This is probably going to seem like TMI for some people, but I mean, it's a postpartum update, so this is the kind of stuff you talk about when you're postpartum. But as far as the bleeding goes, I stopped bleeding completely by 2.5 weeks postpartum. And then I did not get my first menstrual cycle until I was 7 weeks postpartum, I believe. So I had a long stretch of time where I had no bleeding at all. And then I got my first menstrual cycle. It was very short. and it was not what I expected at all. I thought because I didn't bleed for very long after having Hudson and I didn't have a heavy flow, even when I was bleeding, that I would for sure have an intense first menstrual cycle, but I didn't. It was very short, and yeah, so I was really pleasantly surprised with how that one went. And so I had high hopes that my body would just be regulating and that things would go smoothly. But then the next menstrual cycle I had was a little heavier, nothing crazy or anything, and it was a normal cycle. And then for about a week I had no bleeding, and then I started to spot a little bit afterwards, which is totally normal to have spotting in between your menstrual cycles and that kind of stuff as your body, it's just your body regulating basically. As long as you're not having like super intense pains and like bleeding extremely heavily, it's more than likely just your body regulating. Now, if you're really concerned and you just feel like something's off, definitely talk to your gynecologist. But for me, it wasn't anything like to be concerned about. It was just, you know, some spotting. I could just tell my body was regulating. And now I'm on my I just started my third menstrual cycle. So yeah, that is an update on all of that bleeding and stuff. So my body is still regulating, and all of that stuff. I'm not on a regulated menstrual cycle every month. You can hear Hudson in the background. He is very talkative now, aren't you? Yeah. He's in his little bouncy seat. But so anyways, that takes care of that. And then now for the rest of this, I can't talk. For the rest of this update, it's basically just going to be about weight loss. So when I went to my 6-week checkup at my gynecologist, he said that everything looked good. He just told me, you know, to take it slow and easy with exercising and to not be too anxious to lose the weight. And but anyways, I was really anxious. I have been really anxious to lose the weight because with Colton, it took me a really long time to lose a good amount of weight with him. And when I conceived Hudson, I was still 7 pounds away from my pre-pregnancy weight with Colton. Now, with Colton, I gained way more weight than I did with Hudson. And Hudson, I believed I gained 28 pounds with him. And I am now 1 pound away from my pre-pregnancy weight with Hudson. So I've lost 27 pounds since having him. And basically what I'm doing to lose weight is just counting calories, eating all things in moderation, but mainly healthy, and then also exercise on top of it. Now, when I'm in the heavy stage of my menstrual cycle, and I'm like real crampy and stuff, I give myself a break because I'm just listening to my body. And that's what I would encourage you to do if you are in this position and you are, you know, 2 months postpartum or 3 months postpartum or whatever, and you're really anxious to lose the baby weight. I would just say it's okay to be anxious to lose the baby weight. I mean, it's totally understandable, but at the same time, take it slow and be easy on yourself and listen to your body. Please don't overdo it, because I mean, you got to understand your body just went through this big experience. You know, for me, I had a C-section, and just, I mean, any birthing experience is a lot for a body to handle. And so you just got to be easy on yourself. Please don't be too hard on yourself. I know it's hard. You're always your own worst critic. But please, I just encourage you to listen to your body. And that's just basically what I've been doing. I was really discouraged at first when I first started trying to exercise at like 6.5, was I 6.5 or 7 weeks postpartum, I think, when I first started really trying to incorporate exercise again. And I mean, I had been going on walks already, and I was starting to put Hudson in the carrier, and then he started gaining more weight, and it started to become even more difficult to have him in the carrier and walk and those kind of things. But I was starting off with that to, for my exercise, was just having Hudson in the carrier, so his extra weight, and then also going on walks and stuff. And that was starting to get to be too much for my body. I was so sore, and my body was so drained, and I could just tell it was just getting to be too much for my body. So I reluctantly started to take it a little slower. I was still walking and stuff, but I was trying to not do it as often because I believe I was doing it like every day, and that was just too much for my body. My body just, between that and doing housework and making dinner and taking care of the kids, it was just like, my body was like, who do you think you are? You cannot be doing this right now. So I had to slow it down a little bit. But please don't be discouraged if you're in that scenario right now too, because I promise you it will get better. You just need to listen to your body, because exercising has become a lot easier for me now, which I'm so grateful for. And there's still times, there's still days where I can't push myself quite as hard because my body's telling me to stop. And I know that if my body's telling me to stop, then I need to listen. And you do too. If your body's telling you stop, it's too much, then stop, because it is too much. But yeah, so just got to take it slow, listen to your body. I'm a strong believer in eating all things in moderation and exercise, just having a healthy lifestyle, healthy outlook. And that's what I've been doing. And so I'm really excited because I'm really close to my pre-pregnancy weight with Hudson. But then I also, once I reach that, I want to get to my pre-pregnancy weight with Colton, which will be another 7 pounds. And then after that, I will be focusing just all the more on toning my body. And so for workouts, basically what I've been doing is intervals on the treadmill. So I've been going from walking to fast walking to jogging to running, just doing intervals on the treadmill, and I've really been enjoying that. That's just what I've been doing right now. It's pretty much what I have time for. I would love to get into like an exercise series or something on top of doing interval training and stuff, but I really don't have that much time right now. So I'm just doing what I can and listening to my body. Yeah, so I think that's actually pretty much it for this update. And I just want to encourage you all. It's a slow process. Listen to your body. You know, I'm counting calories because that's what works for me. I'm not saying that you need to count your calories. I'm just saying, you know, have a healthy diet, all things in moderation. You need to eat. Please do not starve yourself. It will not help in your losing weight process. It's not good to do that. It's not good for your body. So please eat all things in moderation. Make sure to treat yourself every once in a while. If you're feeling like you've been going and going and going and you need a little bit of a treat day or a treat meal or whatever, treat snack, you know, whatever it is, let yourself have treats every once in a while. It's okay. That's all part of a healthy diet, in my opinion. So that's just what I would encourage you to do. Just listen to your body, you know, all things in moderation. Exercise to what's good for you. And yeah, that's just what I would encourage you all to do. And I just would like to know in the comments down below if you could please let me know how often you guys would like to see these updates. I was thinking of doing weekly weight loss updates. But let me know if you would be interested in them that often, or if you would rather me just do them monthly. And I would plan on incorporating favorite healthy snacks into those updates and all those kind of things. And also I'm thinking about doing some separate videos as well on some of my favorite healthy meals and snacks and all those kinds of things. So please let me know if you would be interested in that. And I hope you all are doing wonderful. And I plan on getting Hudson's 3-month update done soon. He's falling asleep right now, so it's hard to find the time, but I promise I will at least have it up by this weekend. I'm hoping to get it done before then, but I'm not going to promise anything. So anyways, I hope you all are having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.